Good evening and welcome to tonight's sleep time story, The Mansion Tour. My name is Tom and I am the head servant here in the household, and I will be your guide around the house tonight. So tonight's sleep story is all about showing you the house. There's no need to rush. We can take our time listening to the sounds in the house, looking at the objects and the furnishings. I know there's some really interesting pieces in this house. It will be great to show them to you because they have some interesting backstories. And we're going to do this tour in a very slow pace so you can feel at ease and take in the house. So let's begin our tour. Currently, we have just come through 2 large wooden front doors with heavy golden door knockers. They are very well polished so that they gleam. The master insists on everything being clean, of course for hygiene purposes, but it's also to teach us to have respect for the things that we have, because if we take care of them, they will take care of us. Which leads me nicely onto the family that live in this house, and that family is the Broomfields, and they have been around for centuries, and I mean their bloodline has been around for centuries, not themselves. Looking through the history books, I believe the Broomfields hung around with the likes of Shakespeare. Mr. Broomfield is the most charming man. Mrs. Broomfield is the lady of the house and is well respected in social gatherings. Plus they have 2 young children, young Master Maximilian and Miss Amelia. They are very kind and thoughtful children, but as you know with most children, they have a mischievous side, but as long as they attend their studies, Mr. Broomfield and Mrs. Broomfield don't seem to mind. Now, one of the main prominent features in the house is its grand staircase, made up of 50 wooden steps that stretch all the way up and around to the first floor. The banister is made of the highest quality wood, which is polished every day using some polish and a rag. Allow me to give you a quick demonstration. Now we are going to make our way through to the library, a room filled with books on every subject and topic you can possibly think of. Want to learn about art? Perhaps a book on photography, philosophy, science, mathematics. Perhaps you like crime novels, dramas, kids' fairy tales, sleep time stories. It can all be found in this library. The Broomfield family have always had a keen interest in books and learning, so if you're a bit of a book reader as well, then you might like the library as well. If you will allow me to show you a few of the books that we have. So if you'd like to follow me, I'm going to lead you through to the bar. Now this bar has over 6,000 bottles of wines, scotch, whiskey and beers. I know what you're thinking. The Broomfields don't like drinking. But step this way and I'll just show you the bar room. Now, in the bar, you would usually find Mr. and Mrs. Broomfield entertaining their guests, usually consisted of close friends and family. But you could find them relaxing in here after a busy day. The children have been put to bed, and they would be enjoying one another's company. Mr. Broomfield would be sat in his chair, enjoying a glass of scotch usually, while Mrs. Broomfield sat opposite him, would be enjoying a gin and tonic. They'd be sitting by the fire on cold winter evenings and laughing and just generally enjoying the atmosphere. Now I'm just going to show you a couple of their favourites, which consists of large glass bottles of amaretto, whiskey and gin. house, we're just going to take a look at the kitchen. Now, it's quite a large kitchen. They've decorated this in a black and white tiled look along the floor and around part of the wall. They've gone for matching grey cupboards and a grey refrigerator. As you can see on the massive stove, there's 12 burners and lots of storage space for their cups, plates, any kitchen utensils. Mrs. Broomfield insisted on quite a large kitchen, as she, as a little girl, was a huge fan of baking as a child, so she wanted to pass that knowledge on to her children, and they spend a lot of time baking at the weekend, making all sorts of cakes, tray bakes, flapjacks, brownies, and it's really nice to see the family come together like that. So I want to show you just a few little kitchen items that they use to create little cupcakes. So give me a moment and I'll just pick out a few bits here. So we have a rolling pin, first of all, so I'll just show you that. So it's a wooden rolling pin. Mrs. Broomfield always insists on a wooden rolling pin. She says it's something about being able to rub the dough a bit better when you're baking. It doesn't tend to stick as much, so Mrs. Broomfield tends to have the better judgment when it comes to all things baking. A better qualified person than me to answer that question on baking utensils. And next up we have the little measuring cups. It's made of stainless steel, and this one is perfect for measuring out ingredients like flour, sugar, and next, maybe one of the key ingredients to baking is a whisk. To whisk everything up in a bowl, like your eggs, your flour, depending on what sort of cake you're making, I suppose. So I'll just show you that now. So we're going to proceed onto the master bedroom, just one of 10 bedrooms in the house. Now what's great about the master bedroom is that it overlooks the house grounds to the front. So early in the morning you can open the curtains and sit with your morning coffee perhaps and watch the sunrise. on colder, mistier mornings, when the fog sits on the grounds, you can see families of deer foraging. Now I want to show you the bed quilt, and this is the softest cotton you have ever touched. So soft, in fact, that when you climb into bed, you sink right into the quilt, and there is almost like a instant relief, taking the pressure off your back and neck, so you get a feeling of well-being and relaxation. So sometimes what I will do before Mr. and Mrs. Broomfield retire for the evening is I'll just prepare their room for the best quality sleep possible. And this may sound very simple, but it's the little things like fluffing up the pillows and little things like that just make all the difference. So allow me to just fluff up a pillow for you, and you can just gently rest your head against it. So after I've fluffed up the pillows, what I usually like to do next is just spray some very light lavender mist spray just around the room and make sure that it's filled the space of the room, and that way you'll have a nice pleasant smell when you enter the bedroom, so it sets the intention for sleeping. It's actually one of the family's favorite smells, so I always like to make sure that I've got a little bottle of lavender scented spray with me at night time, so that when I prepare the room, I just give it a few spritzes, and I know that when the Broomfield family come to sleep, they'll have a nice smelling room that should effortlessly send them to sleep. So let me just show you the bottle, and I'll just give it a few quick spritzes in here. Okay, I think it's about time to gently wrap up this tour. The reason being that I find when most of our guests get to the bedroom scene and they've experienced the lavender mist and resting their head on the pillows, their bodies naturally start to feel sleepy, calm, and relaxed. So I don't want to take up any more of your valuable sleep time. I hope you've enjoyed the tour and my company this evening. On that note, I'll just gently say I wish you a very good night's sleep, and I look forward to welcoming you back at the mansion soon.